I must admit that was a good call, Darla. Very good call.
And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Queen Sugar. This is season 4, episode 12. Yeah, Darla did something right for a change. So I'll give it to her. But I ain't gonna spend much time on her. Let's go. So Ralph Angel was actually getting ready for spring cleaning and he seen this box. And it was a gift from his dad to Blue that had never been opened. So he kind of was battling with when to actually give that box to Blue and that whole thing. In the meantime, between time, Nova has pulled up in the car and Blue seen her and he was running, getting his little stuff together so he can go out and see her. And Ralph Angel was like, no. He would not let Blue go and see Nova. And I was like, I don't like that. Like, I don't like it. When I understand where he's at with the stuff with Nova, but I don't like children being used as weapons in adult arguments. And at this point, I feel as though Ralph Angel used that as a way to hurt Nova. And in essence, he ended up hurting Blue because Blue don't understand and he doesn't know what's going on. So he actually ended up hurting Blue because Blue wants to see his aunt. He hasn't seen her, and you know how tight-knit they are. He hasn't seen her, and he doesn't know why his pops won't let him go see her. And it's just like it's just that open, ugly thing, and it's like, what the heck? It's ugly. It's ugly, and I've seen that before, where siblings don't allow the children to speak to the other sibling when they're arguing, and it's not good, and it doesn't do good with the kids. It really doesn't. Anyway, he ended up telling her, no, you're not going to see Blue. I don't want to see you, and said what you did to Blue. He's in therapy now. Darla, she done relapsed. And then told her, with sisters like you, who needs enemies? She just walked away. Then we seen Nova, and Aunt Vi went to Nova and told her, I need Jimmy Dale's address. And she told her, I will not give it to you unless I can actually drive you there and you talk to me. And she told her, I'll talk to you when I'm ready to talk to you. She said, yeah, but I don't want you going to see him alone. So Vi told her, I'll talk to you when I want to talk to you. Yeah, you can drive me there. They're on their way on the drive. And she told Nova, she said, you told the wrong story. You told the wrong story. You wrote more pages about my trial than you did about my triumph of getting over Jimmy Dale. You told the wrong story. And in the midst of you telling the story, you made me appear weak. I was like, okay. So they were having that going on in the car. In the meantime, Mr. Prosper had actually ran up to see Charlie, and he let Charlie know that him and a bunch of other folks had been purged from the voters list. The whole little residency thing, they had been purged from being able to vote. In the midst of that, old nasty Francis came in, and Charlie said, why, Cousin Francis? I said, oh, Why, cousin Francis? I said, no, you didn't, Charlie. And I was sitting over here gloating like, mm. And she said, what do you think you're doing, girl? Telling my son about my grandmother being a borderline. What do you think you're doing? And she said, listen, cousin Francis, I just shook the family tree. I'm not responsible for who fell out. I said, oh, she's reading down. I said, Charlie, you are a whole mess. I just shook the family tree. And it ain't my responsibility. I'm not responsible for who fell out. I was, I was like, yes, God, honey. And then she told her, she said, you know what? Pride cometh before the fall, Charlie. And she said, And right then, deputies came in and they had questions for Charlie about arson against the meal. I said, oh, Francis, you dirty bitch. Oh, you're so dirty, but that's okay because she read you down yet again. She read you down, and you could tell it was up underneath her skin. I said, yes, 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 yes. I was just so in that whole thing, baby. I just shook the family tree, honey. I'm not responsible for and you know what? I'm gonna definitely use that on my family. I'm not telling y'all no lie. I wouldn't be. My name wouldn't be James Caldwell if I didn't use that on my family. You just wait, honey. Because they'll definitely give me a reason. They always give me a reason to let them have it, honey. And I will definitely be using that line on them, honey. Anyway, and ain't nothing but mean and hateful. But anyway, it's so good. So good, honey. Moving on. So, uh, this is where I tell you all that Darla actually made a good call. Darla had actually said to Ralph Angel, you didn't let Blue see Nova. And that ain't a good look. What are you going to do? Every time she's around, you want to segregate him from her. That's not a good look. And it just isn't good. You need to let him see Nova. And he said, no, not yet. And I was like, raw. For once, the dumb broad is making sense. It is a very good call, and you need to listen to what Darla is saying. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you need to listen to what Darla is saying. It is best for Blue. So I was like, I'm not getting caught up in their stuff. I said I'm not getting tied up in their stuff. I'm gonna move on. So Envi gets to Jimmy Dale's house, baby, and it's on and popping. She goes up to the door. She has the little black box. And remember, inside the box, there's the armband from her being admitted in the hospital where it beat her real bad. And she goes up to the door. She has the box, and he opens the door, and he's still just being Jimmy Dale, being all mean, being all nasty. And she said, well, I'm giving you this because I've carried this long enough. It's time for you to carry the burden of the pain that you actually caused. He said, what am I supposed to feel something? I ain't think about you. You just like you always been. You ain't nothing. You didn't come on back here to me like you always do and you always will. I said, oh, God, just punch him back. And at that point, Nova came up behind her and grabbed her hand, and she just said what she had to say. And she went to turn around. He gonna take the box and slam it down on the porch, and it like exploded, and she like jumped, and it's like that control over him. He just scares her, and for whatever reason, it was just enough. It was just enough. She turned around. She went back. She said, you are sad. You are sad. And I'm just figuring it out. I'm the one that won. Said, nice house, Jimmy. Nice house. This house was a shack. You hear me? It was a shack. She said, see, I'm the one who's winning. I have the good house. I have the business. I got the money. I got love. I got good health. I look good and I feel good. And you ain't nothing. You ain't nothing and you ain't about nothing and you ain't got nothing. Look at your house. Your house looks like your life. A mess. I was like, girl, okay, now, okay, I get on out of there before he pop you, girl. She was like, so you go on, you ain't shit. I said, oh, wow. She told him, you ain't shit. I got it all. You ain't shit. She turned around and went to leave. And as they were going to leave, this young girl coming up the thing, got a patch up over her head, up underneath her back. He done beat her ass, okay? And that was like, no. And the girl's looking at her. She says, no, baby, I'm you 30 years ago. You are me 30 years from now. He beat you, didn't he? What? The bed wasn't made up tight? The food wasn't spicy enough or whatnot? The soup wasn't hot enough? And the girl was said, you could see the girl's wheels spinning. He said, what to say something? She said, shut up, Jimmy. She told her, she said, girl, drop that bag and come with me. She said, I ain't got nowhere to go. She said, drop that bag and come with me now. I got somewhere for you to go. And she said, but what if he come looking for me? She said, then you got me. Baby girlfriend threw them groceries on the ground, honey, and ran and got in the car. She told her, don't look back, baby. Don't look back. Child, you know me. You know me. The tears was rolling, honey. But the girl left. Vi and Nova drove her, took her to a woman's shelter, got her all, set up, and told her, she said, anything, you contact me. I got you. She said, and when you get done in the program, I got a job for you. You're going to come on and work with me. She told her, she said, and then she told the woman to run the place. She told her, she tried to leave and go back to him. You call me. I said, come on by. Vi done got her zhuzh back, okay? She got her juju back. I said, come on, Vi. So I loved that scene, like that whole, all of that, the whole come about, the fear of Jimmy Dale being lifted off of her, and she told his ass off. You ain't shit. When she was rolling it down, and you could just see her confidence building as she was talking, because I was scared at first. I thought he was going cold cock her child when she was told him, you ain't got nothing. This at the top of all this house. I said, I thought he was going to give it to her. And she got all the way confident then and told him, you ain't shit. I got everything. You ain't shit. I said, go ahead, Vi. So I really love that scene. Then we see Micah and Kiki, and they had this conversation. I've been waiting on this one, where she was saying, he was saying how, people just, they always say they're going to be together, but then they go away for college and they break up. I'm like, yeah, they do. And the way things are going, it will probably be in Kiki's best interest to break up with you. But then, whatever. Love is love. But and that we just kind of left that there. And I was like, I don't know. I'm still feeling like she dodged a bullet by not giving him her virginity. Sorry, y'all, that's how I feel. So then Darla had actually stopped at the restaurant to see that. And she actually had this little coin that she wanted Vi to take. And she, it stood for the fact that she had 30 days sober. And Vi's like, yeah, baby, everything's cool. And she told her, listen, you don't deserve to carry shame that does not belong to you. You don't. You and nobody else. And you're fine. So actually, her and Vi, it's like everything, it's kind of working the way that This is the stuff that you're actually taught in church when you do go through Bible study and all of that. This is what is being taught. These are the things. This is how forgiveness actually works. Whatever it was, whatever they went through, and they went through a lot of stuff, back in the day, but true actual forgiveness is supposed to work like this, because I believe at this point for Vi and Darla, the walls have been torn down, and whatever happened before literally has been thrown into the lake or the river or the ocean of of the past, and it's just been forgiven, and it's done, and they are moving forward. That's the way forgiveness is supposed to work. Doesn't always work that way, but that's the way it's supposed to work. That is my understanding with me going through my Bible study and all that stuff. That was what forgiveness is one of my big ones. I've always had a problem with forgiveness. I have a problem with the process. I have a problem with trusting in the process. I don't, because I don't trust in most individuals, especially when it comes to my feelings. So I have a problem with forgiveness. So I pay real close attention, and I studied a whole lot of that when I was in my little chats with my pastor and his wife over the years. But yeah, that's still something I struggle with to this day. Anyway, that's what it's supposed to look like. That's my understanding. Anyway, so moving on. Those Boudreaux, they're ridiculous. They've now, okay, so they purged people from the list to vote. So they got to get that straightened out. And then Charlie had to get together and tell the people they done took now and moved the polling sites like 10 miles from where they were. And it's like a week before time to vote. And the people were like, yeah, okay. So right then, I was like, here we go again. These people want to get ready to fold. They didn't. They were like, listen, let's get on to some time schedules. They're going to do some driving and some carpooling to get the people to the polls. They're like, we ain't going out like that. So the people are really standing together in St. Joe's to get this done. So I was loving all of that. Then we had a scene where Nova and Vi actually got to sit together and actually patch it. So again, Vi has gotten herself together. It has opened a pathway for her to do what she needs to do. And forgiveness and everything with her her life is just kind of smoothly coming together, because the biggest part of her issues have been moved. It's been moved out of the way, so now she can get some other things done. And it's truly like everything's just lining up, and the only person left now is Raw. We got Raw and Nova. So that's that. Nova actually spoke with Charlie, and then she told her some other stuff. She found out this company, Parker and Campbell, and the Beckington Group, they have something to do with that old world energy place, and they just don't know exactly what, but they have actually, their existence is pretty much hidden. So they figure out this thing is bigger than the Boudreaux and the Landrys. There's a lot of real money involved in this, and it's really a shady deal, and it's going to be a little bit to shake it down, but they getting through it little by little. They figuring it out little by little. So then there was this graduation party for Micah and his sending off. He's going to Harvard. This is bad. This is a bad scene. Kind of touched home. They're in there. Raw was at it. Blue wanted to go sit by Nova. He didn't want him to. He told him to go in the bathroom, wash his hands. He go in the bathroom. Blue ends up telling him, what is going on with you and Aunt Nova? I can tell. I know that you're mad at her for something. I just don't know what it is, but I know that you're mad at her. And what is it all about? Then Blue starts telling him a story about him and his little friend, how they got into a little fight over the video game. And Blue was saying, I knew I was right. I knew I was right. And then I listened to what the little boy's mother said, where she was saying, you two have so much in common that y'all figure it out some kind of way, because you have so much in common that that little thing y'all got going on is not worth giving up your friendship over, because y'all got so many things in common. Ding, 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 ding. And Raw had an aha moment. Damn right. Is this worth giving your sister up for? No, it's not. So he told me, okay, fine, you wash your hands up and everything. Go on out and sit down with your Aunt Nova. I said, good. Good, good, good. Okay, moving on. So, Lord have mercy, they get through this damn party, and Micah jumps up and tells his mother, tells Charlie, he is not going to Harvard. He is staying in St. Joe and going to the college that's there, which is an HBCU. And he's going to take up photography and political science. And most of why he's actually done it is from looking at the things that she's been doing lately, made him push to make the decision. And baby, she was hot as fish grease. Do you hear me? And I know the feeling. I done been here before with my mother. I told this story a couple days ago. I did a live a couple days ago. I did an Ask James live like 2 days ago on Wednesday. And I told the story of how when I decided to go to school for a different subject, other than what my mother wanted me to major in, me and my mother had this big, huge falling out. And sure enough, boom, here we go on Wednesday. And they have this scene, and it hit home like a ton of bricks. I said, oh my gosh. And she was telling him, I have done everything to get get you set up for this time. And you have, everything laid out for you to make a difference in your life, and this, that, thing, and the other. And she, and he's like, yeah, I understand all that, but I don't want it. I want what I want. And she told him, how dare you? I said, oh, child, Miss Charlie. Let it go, girl. Let it go. You're going to make your child miserable, honey. You're going to make a rift between you and your child. I promise you. But yeah, because first thing she looked at, Nova, you knew about this? Nova was like, no, I did not. Kiki was like, I ain't heard nothing about it till today. And Aunt Vi had her jump up and say, well, I think it's great, baby. And she looked at her, and Aunt Vi was like, I said, she was hot as fish grease. You hear me? It was a mess. And that was the last thing we saw. Honey, Charlie walked off. She was pissed. She was pissed. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. Y'all know I love this show. It's almost over. Season's almost over. But love this show, you guys. I'll catch y'all next week. All right. Later.